Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here, back to do a What's Been Spinning video. This is kind of a little series where I just share with you the albums that I've been spinning since the last What's Been Spinning video. As always, I like to mention these are the albums that I actually sat down and listened to from front to back, not where I just kind of spun a song here or there or streamed a few songs or that type of thing. So yeah, I'm going to try to do them like maybe once a week, maybe not put as much time in between so there's not as much stuff to show and making the videos 20, 30 minutes long kind of thing. But this one may be a little longer though, because I do want to start off by giving a kind of a shout out and condolences is the way I kind of feel about it to those that have been around the VC for quite some time. You definitely remember the name LJ. His username was Biosite1, one of the old school VC members. Even though he wasn't old, he was one of the old school VC members. He hasn't made videos like the last 7 or 8 years, but he's left up all of his videos, and he was one of the guys that was here at the very, very beginning of the VC. Like literally when there was 4 or 5 of us trying to find other people somewhere on YouTube that cared about records. He was one of those initial 4 or 5 guys. And he made videos, like I said, all the way up to about 7 or 8 years ago. And sadly, we heard about his passing this past week. So I wanted to just kind of, send out condolences to, I know like his beautiful wife, and he had, I think, a couple little girls. And just, we know it's what happens in life, but you're never quite ready for it. So hearing that news the other day was just such a shocker. So one of the things that I did was that same day that I heard that news, and like I said, I kind of spent a few minutes just like, no way, no way. And I thought, I'm going to sit down and have one more spin with LJ. So I went and pulled a record that I told him, hey, this is for you. Let's have one more spin together. And it was actually the album that I have most cemented in my mind over the years, that every time I've seen the cover, I think about LJ. Long before this past week happened, like every single time I've ever looked at the cover of this album, I automatically go back to thoughts about LJ, and it's Creatures of the Night by Kiss. And I won't go into the whole story right here, but there was just kind of some interactions that he and I had, really kind of some awesome moments that we shared, and kind of in the midst of that, what was playing in the background was Creatures of the Night. So it kind of cements that probably one of the best moments I remember having interacting with LJ, and Creatures of the Night was the album that was spinning. So yes, like I said, it just totally reminds me of him. So he and I sat down and listened to this the other day, and like I said, just so sorry to hear about that. And almost kind of in an extremely ironic fashion, just a couple of days after hearing about LJ, we heard about Ace Frehley passing, and the avatar on LJ's channel is Ace Frehley, the shot from the solo album. And it's just kind of like geez, come on. But yeah, so that was a great spin, and it was great getting a chance to listen to one last spin with LJ. The other one I wanted to show here, I actually didn't spin this yet. I'm actually going to play it tonight, but I want to go ahead and show it because I pulled this out to make sure I give it a spin too, which is Motorhead, No Sleep at All. And this is the album, because LJ and I actually kind of talked about this before. This was the album that kind of cemented me with him. And he told me how me showing this album in a video and talking about it, he said, like, I can't really explain it. Like, it wasn't something that was just so different than anything else. But he said, like, me showing this and hearing how I was talking about it and what I was saying just immediately gave us a connection. And that was how we first reached out and started interacting with each other. And he said that this was the album that made him shoot me that first email. So again, at all those years, this is another one that just kind of really, really cements me with the one and only LJ. So again, just horrible, horrible news. So let me try to transition here. Other things that I was spinning. We'll start here with this, which is Fleetwood Mac Rumors, and this is kind of a deluxe version here, as you can kind of see there on the back. And basically what it is, I kind of already pulled it apart so I could just flash it really quick. You get a booklet, and I won't go through all of that. It just has information, pictures, blah, blah, blah. But then what you basically get is this gatefold inside of there where you get a really great sounding pressing of the album on vinyl. And then you also have 5 discs, as you can see right there, five discs inside. Now, as far as what's on those discs, where'd that go? Just in case someone's interested in maybe, grabbing this. There's 4 CDs where you get the original album with the B-side Silver Springs on that. You also get 12 previously unreleased live recordings from 1977 tour. You get an entire disc of previously unreleased studio outtakes. Those are really interesting. And an additional disc of just studio outtakes. And then also the 1977 Rosebud documentary film as well. So that's what those five discs were inside. But yeah, great sounding pressing of that. I just spun the album and listened to the studio album. I didn't dive into all the other things this time, but nice little package for someone that's really, really into that album. And then we have the Jesus and Mary Chain, Psycho Candy. Just awesome, like such a sound-defining album to me from 1985. Just kind of bringing in the elements of new wave, kind of like I don't know, almost like noise rock, and also elements of punk, but not from a speed perspective, but kind of from a being raw and rough around the edges. No bright shimmery notes and that type of thing, just very gritty and dirty and murky in the sound, and just an awesome album. Definitely one to listen to if for some reason you have not heard that. So, and beautiful gold stamp promo of that there. Little Morrissey, Viva Hate, another great one there. Probably my favorite Morrissey album. I mean, depends on what day. Definitely has my favorite song by him on this one, which is Every Day Is Like Sunday. Love that one. But like most of his stuff, the songs that I love on his albums, I love them. The songs I can't stand on his albums, I can't stand them. But anyway, moving right along. Little LL Cool J, Radio, 1985. Straight up old school hip hop here. Just a beat, like a bass beat, a snare, and a little bit of hi-hat, and just a dude rapping on top of it. Just, back to bare bone basics rap right here. I Can't Live Without My Radio, Rock the Bells, I Need a Beat. Just old school. Love it. And then we have the Timex Social Club. I'm sorry about the glare, guys. Trying to get it out of there. This is their album, Rumors, Vicious Rumors. If you know that song, then you probably know them. But they were kind of a group that they weren't overly serious, but just kind of made fun stuff and that type of thing from 1986. Just kind of an R&B, somewhat dance type of thing. But yeah, just one I hadn't spun in a while, and that was a good spin. As well as a little Tin Machine, one of those David Bowie projects. They're released from 1989. An album that I didn't like the first time I heard it, but it seems like every time I listen to it, it makes more and more sense to me, and I like it more and more. And it was the exact same thing this time as well. And of course, this classic, I don't have to say anything about this. The Cure, Disintegration there. 1989, just, Pictures of You, love song, on and on. Just that slow, deep, darky kind of what I call alternative love, just that stuff that The Cure does so well. And then a little David Bowie, Let's Dance, nice little Japanese pressing there. This is his classic from 1983. And of course with Bowie, Modern Love, China Girl, Let's Dance. just an awesome side 1 on this album. Side 2 I always felt was kind of, but I especially didn't like that, they put the song, what's the name of that song? Cat People, from the movie Cat People. That more kind of upbeat, dancey version that he put on here. I've never been able to stand it because the original song is so good. It was just like, I'm sure it has something to do with the movie and going to his album or whatever else, but that version is horrible for a song that's actually one of my favorite David Bowie songs. But then you have Sky here. This is from sorry guys, just like that glare there. This is from 1980. Just kind of a prog rock, or maybe like a prog jazz fusion type of thing. Maybe like a Yes type of jam session, just kind of playing around with music and noises and like a fusion type of thing. A really, really cool album. 2 LP. First LP I really love. Second LP just seems kind of weird. Like not weird, but it seems like they wanted to go into let's just pay tribute to all of the old classical music and medieval type of music that obviously they must love. And a lot of the stuff on the second LP just centers around that, and it seems so different than the first LP. But always a fun spin that I usually go to about once a year or so. I go back and kind of revisit that album. And then we kind of get into just like that straight up, what I like to refer to as whiskey rock, that sleazy whiskey rock, the LA Guns, just, awesome big riffs and just dudes doing that 80s rock like you're supposed to do it. No Mercy, Sex Action, just, on and on and on. Just an awesome, awesome album. I still got that sticker on the back too, like back in the day when this was a $4 album. It's like, holy cow. My, have times have changed. Duran Duran, Rio. Again, you guys know that one. I haven't said anything about that. A little Brand X, Unorthodox Behavior. Another great one too. 1976, and this is kind of a jazz fusion type of thing as well. Very creative, I think, especially for the time, and just an interesting album to listen to. I'll put it that way. If you never heard it before, definitely check it out once. If you're kind of into jazz fusion, you'll really like this. Very, very cool album. My boy Rob Zombie, The Sinister Urge. This was his 2001 release. And again, just another great one. Zombie is, I always refer to him as doing funk metal. Everything it does is very groovy and very rhythmic, and that's just kind of his sound and his style. And this was no different. On here you had songs like Never Gonna Stop, Scum of the Earth, House of a Thousand Corpses. The theme song to the movie is on here. And yeah, just another great one by the Zombie. I say again, that was 2001. And of course, the Velvet Underground. This is Loaded. Another great album here. Of course, you guys know this one with Lou Reed and the guys. Who Loves the Sun, Sweet Jane, Oh Sweet Nothing, and on and on and on. Another great one. And again, beautiful OG copy of that there. And one that, if you guys have followed these videos, my What's Been Spinning, you've seen this one a lot. Let's just put it that way. 3 Doors Down, Greatest Hits. I love this freaking album. And when 3 Doors Down was big, I could not care less about them. Just didn't like them, didn't listen, just didn't care. And then about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, I went and saw Creed in concert. I saw him twice, and both times 3 Doors Down opened for them. And all of a sudden, it was just like, oh my God, that song, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was amazing. It was just like the hit after hit after hit just somehow registered with me. And I came back and got this album and just cannot stop listening to it. I'm still not crazy about the song Kryptonite. I know it's one of their big ones, but When I'm Gone, Here Without You, It's Not My Time, I can put that song on repeat and listen to it 7 times in a row with no problem. Let Me Go, Loser. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to get it back then, but that album is awesome. Little Bad Company, self-titled. Again, Roger and the Boys. Don't have to say anything about this one. 1974. Can't Get Enough, Rock Steady, Ready for Love. The title track, just on and on and on. That's always a great spin to revisit. Golden Earring, Moontan. This is their release from 1974. Of course, it had the big hit Radar Love on here, and just kind of that mid-70s, just rock. Just that awesome classic rock kind of feel. So great album there. Return of the Living Dead, kind of dove into my soundtrack some there. This came out in 1985. I guess kind of a horror zombie classic or cult classic kind of movie. But stuff by like the Cramps, the Damned, 45 Grave. That has one of my favorite songs on there. Just a lot of really, really great stuff. Like great punk, great metal, but also like nothing being too serious. but still kind of rocking kind of thing, which is one of the things that makes it one of my favorite soundtracks and an awesome movie. And then just kind of getting into that 80s party rock. You know, that's what I like to refer to this even more so than glam metal, or maybe glam rock, you should say. But this falls under party rock for me. And I said 80s, but I guess technically this came out in 1990. But yeah, I mean, Poison. You have Unskinny Bop, Life Goes On. What else? Something to Believe In. Yeah, just the fun stuff that Poison was doing back in the day. And the last, like we got 4 here, we have the Pipettes. This is We Are the Pipettes. Remember discovering this when I first started collecting vinyl. I probably got this record like 15 years ago or something like that. I was out in DC for work and went into a record shop out there and saw this album. And I didn't know exactly what it was, but I saw the cover and thought, let me check that out. It's kind of cool. Back when albums were so cheap, you could afford to do that. And fell in love with it. This actually came out in 2007. But basically, it's kind of like, this is kind of like these girls going back and doing kind of jukebox kind of poppy type hits. Maybe not as serious, but that exact same sound that you would expect to hear in like a malt shop back in the 50s or 60s or whatever. But really, really kind of cool stuff, fun stuff. And my favorite song off of this is Your Kisses Are Wasted on Me. So if you haven't heard them before, that's the first song I recommend checking out. And if you dig that, definitely dive deeper. White Snake, of course, 87. You know, with all of the 80s glam stuff and everything like that, actually, Billy and I, you know, Riverbend Records over in Godfrey, we were talking about this the other day because we actually spun it at the shop. And it was just one of those, this never loses its punch. No matter how many times you've heard it, no matter, it's just like every time you put it on, it's almost like you're hearing it for the first time. It's just such perfect songs for the time and perfect styles for what the album was. It never loses its energy and its punch. Just such a fantastic album. And of course, you know, everything on here. Bad Boy, Still in the Night, Here I Go Again, Is This Love, Children of the Night. Are you ready to rock? I mean, it's just like you put that album on, you better be. The Cranberries, Dreams, a collection. Just kind of a single LP greatest hits. If you're not familiar with this, I'll kind of just show the track list there. You can pause and take a look. But really kind of when you get down to the core, you know, 7 or 8 songs like you hear by the Cranberries, they're all on this one. So their other greatest hits, is it Stars or whatever that I have, is a 2 LP that has a few more things. But this is just kind of your basic Linger, Dreams, When You're Gone, Zombie, Just My Imagination, Salvation, just like right to the hits. So another nice spin there. Oh, I love her voice so much. I never get tired of listening to it. And last but not least, a little, actually no, there was something else I was supposed to, oh well, I'll show those next time. I had some CDs and cassettes that I'd spun, but I'll just put those in the next batch. Collective Soul. 7 Year Itch. This is the Craft recording, their greatest hits from 2001 is when the album actually came out on CD, I believe. But this is the 2023 pressing. And again, one of those bands where I like so much of their stuff, and I have quite a few of their studio albums, but if you don't have any other Collective Soul, this takes you right to the hits on 1 LP. You know, you get Shine, you get Perfect Day, you get Precious Declaration, you get The World I Know, you get December, and on and on and on. Just their hits. So great spin there as well. So like I said, I forgot some cassettes and CDs that I had, but I'll show those next time. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Again, to LJ and LJ's family, condolences, and we'll talk to you guys soon. All right, take care, VC.